you know, perform against PSG. And for PSG, they need to step up. We need to see if they can prove themselves on the stage. River and Tank obviously coming back after Kongyue and Uniboy help the team qualify.
Yeah, I think you look at this game and you're just looking for some great League of Legends, because whenever Damwon Gaming is in the match, they are always going to perform, and I think they're just a great team. So, you know, forget any of the expectations coming into this one. Just learn a little bit about the game here and what they can do both in lane and out.
We were so excited about their debut game on Group Stage Day 1, going up against JDG, and JDG, Damwon, two of the teams that many people are pegging as potential teams to win it all. And Damwon just clapped JDG. That Jace mid did not really work out. The draft didn't help them. And bringing us back to this draft, Ornn, Renekton, Orianna, Camille, Nidalee, Lucian.
I think PSG did their homework in this one, especially with Camille and Nidalee bans. Those are going to be good to take away, but as soon as Nidalee is gone, it becomes the Graves show for Canyon. Yesterday, he was playing with that with the Ignite, getting fairly aggressive with that pick and sort of having his way inside the jungle, and Canyon's just one of those players that on these farming champions has completely adopted them into his playstyle and is so good at expanding big leads over his opponents.
It really is a overwhelmingly exciting jungle meta. When you see the players we have in the meta, the focus on the role, and Kindred is now going to be locked in here for River.
I really like this pick because while Graves is a very strong pick in the meta, I feel like he is very counterable in draft. Not necessarily the jungle matchup as much, although I will say Kindred has the ability to outrange him and with some crit itemization can outscale the Graves as well. But whenever Graves gets locked in, you want range and you want zone control. And what have they got in 2 picks here for PSG? You have range and you have zone control already. Kindred, if she's getting stacks, which we hope she can, but can be hard in this matchup, you know, will be able to expand on her range, and Ashe with her W can control areas in fights. Because Graves is pretty low range, it can be hard for him to step forward, but a pick like a Senna can do a good job of keeping him higher in HP.
I absolutely love seeing the Senna picks into those sort of death ball style comps, the close range melees. The value that Senna's kit provides that type of team composition is fantastic.
Yep.
Can help you get through that long range poke from the Ashe, the zone control from Kindred. We're going to see a Syndra hovered right now for Showmaker, and this Syndra is locked in. So quite a well-rounded drop thus far already, looking to see what's going to happen in the support role and the top lane, because that's really going to shape how this comp plays out.
I'm like, so Tank, do you play the Echo? Because you picked that into your Syndra yesterday, and it looks really good. Not necessarily sure if that's going to be in his wheelhouse. May end up just pivoting to something like an Orianna, which can work into a Graves pretty well. And Azir accomplishes very similar things. Remember, we were talking about zone control against that pick can be fairly important, offer up some wave clear to the rest of PSG. And right now, PSG have a really powerful backline. They want to play back in fights with this, you know, the disengage they have with the Azir ult, the Kindred are as well. They are looking to set up a strong team fight, but now from Kaiwing and Tanabe's champions, we need to get them a solid front line as well.
Let's see if the tanks get banned out in the second phase, or what they're going to decide to lock in to help protect Kindred, Azir, Ashe. Irelia immediately taken off the table.
Yeah, and I think that PSG, what they're going to need to make sure is while they get these champions, you also need champions that don't get dumpstered in lane. Yes. Because Damwon Gaming will dumpster you in lane too. So like a pick like the Aurelia, getting that one out of here, just for Hanabi up top side, these all can be very meaningful for them. The other thing I would like to think about is like, could we see Kaiwing on an Ardent support? Just because you have 3 auto attackers on your team, you know, of course, the double marksmen are going to appreciate that, but any sort of like a Lulu potentially to give the attack speed bonus could be helpful as well.
Do you believe that that particular option would go unpunished from Beryl?
See, that's what's so hard, because I think like with a range support, you can get a really strong bottom lane. But also when I look at PSG, I'm like, Kaiwing, if he's not on engaged support, how do they do anything? And that's where it can be really difficult.
I love the bard ban here from Damwon Gaming. Kaiwing had some fantastic bard performances as PSG were qualifying through the play-ins. Wukong and Irelia were the 2 bans from PSG talent towards Damwon Gaming. And the final phase 2 ban will be the Jace. Now we're anticipating, or we're hoping to see some sort of front line here. The Jace pick surprises me, or Ben, a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It does surprise me on that one there. A little bit concerned. Hey, they actually did it!
Ding, 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 ding! Ender, you are on fire. So, what does Hanabi need to run in the top lane? You got your Ardent support. You got your 3 auto attack champions. He needs to have some sort of beefcake, right? And
well, I wish he could play Ornn. If he could play Ornn, then I'm just like, it's draft Exodia, as long as you don't get beaten in lane, which again is going to be the problem always when you're facing up against Dom1 Gaming. But really, you could offer up a whole lot of different tank options, maybe even a Sign, but I think it's heavily dependent on what Nagari shows here with Dom1's 5th pick.
Okay, well, I'm waiting to see what happens because the Thresh has now been locked in. Senna Thresh.
Oh, please, please. Nagari's Kennen is just a treat. And anytime you can get the option of seeing it, I want it.
And of course, that's going to make Hanabi's life extremely difficult on any number of tanks that he could decide to go with. Now, does he go for the tank option? Kennen will round out the team comp here from Dom1. No, traditional front line.
Honestly, just take the L and pick them out, guy.
Top lane Lulu, support orders? No, not going to get ahead of myself.
Just playing with this.
Wait to see what happens here with Hanabi's pick. Of course, on Dom1's side, I mean, let's zoom out and look at the 5 champions they've locked in thus far. How do you expect this one to play out?
Ooh, okay, so Dom1, of course, Barrel's Thresh is going to be really insane, so playing around mid lane, getting roams off, that's all great. But now the interesting thing is Hanabi piloting the Lulu top that Nagari just showed yesterday. So when the Kennen comes in, Hanabi is now going to be trying out the Lulu, and now PSG get everything they wanted because they get the Lulu that I said would be so good with their comp, and they also get Kaiwing on an initiation support in the form of that Nautilus.
And it's going to be solo lane Lulu, so theoretically, if all goes well, more gold, more experience, more levels, hopefully going to be able to benefit. Neither team has a quote-unquote front line, right? You've got supportive tanky champions, but I think this is going to be very interesting to see how initiations are going to play out.
And my eyes for Dom1 will be on Nagari's Kennen. Because I believe that Nagari may be the best team-fighting top laner in the world. The way he finds flanks, plays in the fog of war, on picks specifically the Camille and Kennen stand out from the games I have seen from him. Now he's on the Kennen, playing around dragon fights, getting into the fog, finding the flanks against a heavily ranged backline. It's going to be hard, but he's the man that can do it.
You've got to get through Nautilus CC, Ashe arrows and volleys, Kindred ultimates, Azir knockback. This is the ultimate Takeshi's Castle challenge or run. Do you know the game show?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my word, you are so young. Okay, so the analogy is going to be lost, but he needs to get through an obstacle course. That's what it boils down to. An incredible, incredible obstacle course. He's got himself the spellbook, he's got himself the teleport, he's got some tools to play around with it. Now, while we've talked a little bit about the mid game and the late game and the team fights, for the early game, how is this going to play out? You touched on the fact that River can outrange Canyon. We want to watch how quickly he can gain some stacks because some Kindreds have not had a fun time here at Worlds.
Yeah, and a lot of the time we end up seeing that in professional play. Kindred, very hard to stack up with unless you have really powerful lanes and you're sort of running over the game to be able to freely invade. So I would expect this to be a relatively low stack Kindred game. I don't think River is gonna make or break depending on if he gets 10 stacks at 20 minutes or something, which is impossible for anyone that is wondering. But I think that when it comes down to it, the team fight and the ability to kite back from PSG is incredibly, incredibly strong. And a Kennen coming in on a flank has to worry about all these things like the Ashe arrow to slow him down, a Nautilus pressing R on him, the Azir to knock him away too. So this is a unique challenge that Nagari has been given here by drafting the Kennen.
But he definitely has the abilities to pull this one off. If vision and flanking can be set up correctly, it'll be made significantly easier. For the time being, Tank's order is given. Summon those sand soldiers and try to push back. Lulu versus Kennen trading in the top lane as the dredge line will catch up Barrel. Death sentence. Oh, not just yet.
The glacial slows on top to get the trades out. Very, very powerful on that Senna.
Race to level 2 is on. Minion Wave was going to be dropped down. Another dredge line. Insta-flay back by Barrel. A lot of damage coming out from Unified. Summon a heal used already, as well as that ignite.
Yeah, but that's the big difference, right? Is Ghost is rocking the cleanse, so that's why PSG are trading so aggressively. Over time, Ghost will be able to heal up Barrel, and they did hold on to their summoner spells.
I do like seeing Kaiwing going in. I do like seeing Kaiwing pushing, challenging this one. They didn't just back off and you know, go, oh, it's Dom1 and play afraid. Unified and Kaiwing reunited after Unified was able to rejoin during the playing stage. Small advantage.
UAV online, Unified able to spot out Canyon in his jungle.
And I wanted to ask about this top lane matchup early on, like Lulu into Cannon. Surely it's going to be annoying for this Cannon.
No, I mean, this is a classic matchup. Like, unironically, Season 5, you would see this matchup a whole lot. And one of the weaknesses Kennen is always going to have is, like, his trading against a lot of other ranged top laners. You see Graves, or not Graves, Jace has a really good matchup. As Graves now is walking into the enemy jungle and will be able to steal Raptors with the early pressure from Syndra.
That explains the Jace ban. Not afraid of any of those things, and his, like, planning the Cannon, as you talked about. And of course, Kaiwing making his first roam. So bottom lane was pushed very heavily by Unified, and Showmaker, if he steps forward, could be at risk of a game.
I really like this from Kaiwing. The gank not quite going to work out, but it will help River fight for the Scuttle Crab. Unified, those are 1v2. What's going on?
Are you there? He's been caught out and taken down. You cannot play far forward when your support is not there.
It just should not be happening here with Kaiwing walking. Like, Kaiwing's like, what's happening? I go away for 1 second, all of a sudden you're dying. That's a big, big problem. And now, where River was just about to get double Scuttle Crabs, his mark spawned on the bot side. You know, Barrel should be able to roam up here in theory. River might be able to smite this one away very quickly. 19 HP.
Ooh, that was very close. Canyon's very low. Flash over the wall from Kaiwing, anticipating a Canyon flash or quick draw. Didn't quite see if it had been used. Nevertheless, PSG strike back. They get the kill, and they got the Scuttle.
Yeah, it is a very important kill there, and I'm very surprised that Barrel walked all the way back down into bot lane there, because I thought it was pretty obvious there was going to be a fight in the river. Unified, I can't even begin.
Nope, unforgivable. Getting caught out, you need to respect that. Now, Ghost and Barrel, they did jump in instantaneously, as Kaiwing showed in the mid lane. Hanabi is busy bullying.
Let's talk about top lane. Okay. I'm bored with the rest. I want to talk about Kennen versus Lulu, because I do think it's kind of interesting, because Lulu takes some really good chunk trades with her E playing aggressively. Into the Kennen, you can see Kennen will actually go Doran's shield versus a lot of melee or ranged matchups, whereas a lot of the time against melees, he'll either become Cull or a Doran's blade. But it's a battle between HP and mana, because Hanabi with Corrupting Potion, he likes to trade aggressively, and you can get Nagari low, but low mana on Lulu. Now PSG are coming for the dive.
Okay, no level 6 yet for Nagari. He's got the flash available. Kaiwing's level 2, by the way. Level 2. Manages to get the dredge line as Hanabi tanks up the tower. Kaiwing picks up the kill, but it is traded back for River. While that's going on, Canyon decides to invade. Kaiwing is playing the map. He's trying to generate some advantage.
Yeah, Nagari will say we take those, and I wonder if Dom1 can even set up a dive down towards the bot side, because Showmaker has fully pushed the mid wave. That'll force a teleport out from Hanabi. So now there's not going to be a TP advantage. Kennen will use that to get back up towards the top side of the map, but the lane's still doing well. Nagari was not actually denied a whole lot. It was just about 3 minions that ended up dying to the tower.
I'm so happy to see Kaiwing on Nautilus on an engaged support. Now he's level 3 to Barrel's level 4. He's picked up a kill and an assist for PSG. In terms of the lane assignments, Hanabi was just covering mid after Tank teleported top. He was able to pick up that kill. And now we'll see Hanabi running up, using the Blast Cone to pick up this wave. So 400 gold difference in the advantage for Dom1. River's going to continue putting pressure. He will be met by Canyon here. As the Lantern was picked up, Ghost is going down to River. River now turns his attention onto Barrel, and Barrel and Canyon stand there, unable to defend their bot laner.
Yeah, really nice hook there from Kaiwing again, making it work on this Nautilus. 100% kill participation between him and River, moving around the map together to help get some kills. And I also appreciate River not immediately going into the early Drake here and instead focusing on efficiency, pathing towards the top side of the map where the crab spawned.
The first game of this PSG roster in Worlds against Rogue, Tank and River got bullied and run around the map completely. 3 games later, 2 days later, PSG are taking it to Dom1. This is very, very exciting. I'm getting very happy about seeing Kaiwing and River working together. Now Tank is going to be under some threat, caught by the stun, caught by the death sentence. He had flash available and will use it. Not enough AP from Showmaker, and he gets out, but that was a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, Tank was playing aggro because, of course, he knows Kaiwing and River are on the way, but Beryl was able to get first back onto the map with some boots there to influence the mid lane first. And now teaming up, it's a level 3 Kaiwing again. They're diving top once more.
Unbelievable. These guys have not left each other's sides. Need to keep tracking Kaiwing's levels.
Love this.
If these kills do not get secured and Kaiwing isn't able to get XP,
Hanabi needs to put the polymorph before Nuguri gets ult off.
will be problem. There's the polymorph. He's not going to be able to stop the storm, though. A lot of stuns coming out. Kaiwing's going low. Hanabi's tanking, and River gets the kill. They did it again.
Very nicely done. I mean, Naguri does get the ult off. It gets a little bit, you know, close there with Hanabi having to pop the ultimate, but once again, going to deny Naguri. Best jungler in the world, by the way.
It happens to everybody, okay? Face plant, but unable to get over the wall. Now look, 4 kills to 2, but there is a sizable CS advantage for Showmaker in the mid lane, as well as Canyon farming up. However, it is counterbalanced by the fact that River has picked up those kills and assists. So Showmaker, once he begins to build up more of that AP, will have the tools to kill people, but there are answers.
But can you kill people? Exactly. Like you're onto it right there with the Lamb's Respite as well.
Tools are there, and it will come down to execution.
Yeah, because, I mean, Showmaker won't have, you know, reliable people that he can end up hitting. There should be MR coming through as well, and Canyon, too, in these fights. So hard to teamfight on the Graves when, if you ever want to walk into damage range, you're in polymorph range, right? You're going to get shut down, you're going to get kited out. So this is why I do think Naguri is so pivotal to the success of Damwon, because he's the multi-man stun in the backline that reduces the DPS, that can find a one-shot onto a squishy target. But because PSG have put so much pressure into that lane early on, it has slowed down his snowball. It has denied him CS, it's denied him EXP, and breakpoints like level 11, you know, Leandri, like these types of items are so pivotal on the cannon to make sure he can actually teamfight. And in this game, you have to get Azonias too, because otherwise you get punted out of the fight every time by Nazir.
Yeah, and all of the counterplay tools from PSG. They've got the lead. They've got the kill advantage. Kaiwing just dinged over to level 6. Beryl is making his way towards... Correction, Kaiwing dinged level 5. Beryl is making his way towards level 6.
Kaiwing has not been in lane at all.
That's exactly what I was going to get to, is I was watching his levels, and if they weren't able to pick up those kills and you know, actually secure them, it could have been very problematic to be under-leveled, potentially a juicy target. And Kaiwing again is going fishing.
Yeah, Unified, of course, has the ultimate, so now he gets to join the Roam squad alongside River. They're just going to play for the Dragon here with Damwon on the reset. They're not going to path down for that. Canyon was able to pick up the Rift Shield a little bit earlier on, so I think they'd be well off to try and get that onto one of their carries.
Going to be definitely trading aggressively, as you've alluded to already. Ender 87, CS to 73. How do you want this Lulu to build? I know we talked about Ardent Sensor, right?
Exactly how she's doing. You get... Oh, hello!
That's Flash over the wall. Dredgeline will find Beryl. He's still got Flash available, manages to get the Flay. Kaiwing will go golden thanks to the stopwatch, and the Scout of the Week won't find a target, but the collateral damage will. River's blown up, unable to use the Lamb's Respite.
That's massive there. Beryl flashes forward.
Woo! Unified flashes over the wall. Dragon is enraged and starts hammering down on Unified. So the Dragon is not secured safely despite the backtimers.
Yeah, very important turnaround there from Damwon Gaming, and maybe even able to turn this into the Drake for themselves. They put the Herald in mid lane, give all the money to Showmaker. It's exactly what I was trying to say. Make sure he can get even more of a lead, because you can see 0-0-0, the man's got a bounty because he has 115 CS. No one else in the game is really close.
Not even remotely. So 25 CS advantage, thanks to picking up Herald in that minion wave. Tank is closing the gap, but it does look like Cannon should be able to finish that Dragon before PSG can arrive, and he does. Yeah, managed to see the UAV thrown down. A hawk shot from Unified. He's returning to lane. He's only got those long swords and a cull coming up against Manamune for now. This is the flash engage. So remember, this is the choice PSG made, going for the kills instead of prioritizing
exactly,
the
but then there is the turn on to River here where the hook goes through the stopwatch target. Just hard to catch that amidst all of the VFX going down, and that will end up punishing River. This is a game where River will probably end up needing to get into a QSS, or likely we'll see Hanabi go for a Mikhail's Crucible. That is one of those good items that works against a lot of the champions somewhere.
I love the fact Beryl held onto his flash for so long in that play as well. Really understanding the threat to his life and holding on to the last second, pulling PSG further and further. But I'm gonna praise PSG for the time being. That the 12 minutes of gameplay, they have thrown punches. They are looking for kills. It's all been Kaiwing and River. 100% kill participation for both of them. And if Hanabi
Ooh, it's lane gank
goes
time.
too far forward, flash available, wild growth available.
Can he smell him?
He'll
I don't think so.
Oh, this is a scary kill.
He thinks something's going. Something's sus, but I think he's gonna get banged.
Oh, there we go. There's a slicing maelstrom thrown down. And wild growth will buy some time, and the collateral damage sends him packing. Could feel it was coming.
Yep. Nicely. I mean, he's like, at this point, do I flip it and try to farm, or do I just lose out on all of that? And he chooses the former. We'll still be able to find his item, but another kill on Canyon going to be very nice for the Damwon jungler.
Yeah, it's definitely going to help out, get that Graves a little bit more damage in his pocket. 1 kill, 1 assist. Nogri on the cannon. Dredge line not going to be able to find a target or the wall, as Kaiwing was then rooted in place. And in just a couple of minutes, Damwon have been able to build themselves up a 1,300 gold lead, turn it around. River did not like preemptively flash or dance of arrows, so I think Beryl was doing a predictive hook, didn't manage to find his targets, and now it's going to be Beryl that actually takes a little bit of damage. Ash Arrow dashed away from the quick draw, does a lot of good work, and we're setting up already. PSG just feel like they want to brawl.
All right, coming into this fight, just wanted a quick check-in, send it 15 stacks. Kindred only 3, so 1 away from getting that range bonus, which again, very important, especially in matchups like the Graves, like the Cinder. Make sure you can get out range of a lot of their key abilities. Senna also has not reached her range bonus threshold at 20.
Not just yet. Laning phase going well here. One of the things we talked about, Ender, was Damwon's ability to just like bop you in lane. Wild growth is available here for Hanabi. Noguri's feeling pressure. Gonna jump
that's a kill.
with that Proto Bell. Continues to chase. Dawning Shadow fight out as well.
Oh no, he doesn't have ultimate.
To slow Noguri. No slicing Maelstrom available. Noguri committed everything there and Ghost ulti and doesn't find the kill.
Oh, that's tragic. He thought his ult would come up in time to be able to find the kill on him, because you could see like the attack speed you get popping out of the lightning rush there on the Cannon 2, trading really well into that Lulu, proccing the stun multiple times, but with the MR Hanabi got on the Athenes, it is not enough to finish him off. It's also pretty clear he's going into the Ardent Censer second item, so building for the rest of the team. Nuguri has hit level 11, River is up in the top lane.
Canyon's making his way there too. There's teleports into the mid lane coming out from Showmaker. Hanabi will arrive, so Noguri will clear out the ward. As we're about to move into another phase of play, couple of towers under pressure. Showmaker should be able to pick this one up here with a very large minion wave to work with. Tank and Kaiwing now need to save River. Collateral damage goes out. Scatter the Weak is fired out, gets a multi-stun.
There's another one off
Ash
the map.
Arrow goes flying. And it's pressure in every single lane for PSG, except bottom.
Yeah, one thing for that's going the way of Damwon, I would say, is they have double lethality users with double AP soloing. So it's really hard for PSG to itemize, especially because the only real tank on this team is in the support position, so you don't have a lot of money there too. So, Beryl.
And look at that, flash over the wall, instantaneous engage. That's a great stun from Showmaker. Teleport's complete and a tank picks up the second. Lamb's Respite was used, 40 seconds to Infernal, and now Hanabi wants to get under the tower. Slicing Maelstrom comes down, Protobell pops forward, Hanabi steps further backwards, trying to slow him, trying to enlist the help of the tower, the minions, the army, and it's not going to be enough! Noguri gets the kill, he's being chased by a bunch of minions, and he will get out alive.
The solo kill between the towers from Noguri, just throwing down with the Lulu in the old school matchup. You love to see it coming out from him. Just knowing the absolute limits of the champion, that was one auto away from him losing.
That was so close. Fighting in the minion wave as well. Hanabi just wasn't able to pull Noguri close enough to the tower to make it work, and it feels like Kennen is online right now.
Yeah.
There's an Infernal.
So we were saying, right, level 11 for Kennen, so massive for his ultimate, both in the team fights and in the 1v1. And when you're able, like a Lulu matchup, there's not stuff you're dodging. You're never like really kiting out there. So popping out of the lightning rush, you get rapid fire auto attacks off, which apply the passive marks and get you more and more stuns. Works out really nicely for him in the 1v1.
Despite the early advantages that PSG were able to accrue, in a matter of 4 minutes of gameplay, Damwon have been able to build up this 3,000 gold lead. They've got 2 dragons. They've got themselves another Rift Herald, taking down the second tower of the game, extending this lead further. And the death sentence very close to Kaiwing. Despite all of his efforts, the team is just falling behind in map control.
Ghost getting run down by a whole lot of members from PSG, should be able to escape for the time being, but map control is going to be a big, big problem for PSG. All 3 towers are going to be gone. You can see here Hanabi isn't inside his minion wave right now, so all of Nuguri's damage is going to be landing. He can't get behind a minion, because if Hanabi can get behind his minions like he does here, it makes it really hard for Nuguri to connect one of his shurikens. But because that never came through, max damage was being applied from that cannon. The 1v1 was won.
Yeah, definitely. There's the gold lead we talked about.
Arrow?
Ash Arrow will connect onto Beryl, but there's no further follow-up. Showmaker gets the stun with Scatter the Weak, unleashes the power, and doesn't find a follow-up kill.
That's Lulu for you right there. Just drops the shield. Nautilus is okay.
Easily able to escape. The Wild Growth was there if it was needed to, but that is what we talked about in draft. Those are the tools that PSG need. They need to stem the bleeding at the moment because Dom1 accelerating. Showmaker still has a 300 gold bounty, 0-0-0. He's pretty much been in like AoE stun box every time these skirmishes have been set up, but he's hit his targets every time.
Definitely has, and I still like, the gold lead is not insurmountable for PSG, and I really like the composition they put together. Again, it's pretty hard for Dom1 to fight into them because Dom1, we already mentioned like the engage options a little bit lackluster outside of playing for picks off of some of their, Cinder Stun, Thresh Hook, those sort of tools. It really is just Nuguri, and on Kennen, it's really hard to act as the primary initiator because you can instantly be, CC'd on one side. If just Nautilus walks forward and tries to zone you, what do? He sort of beats you unless you commit an ultimate into that fight, and you never want to do that because you have to use that for the 5 versus 5.
If you'll humor me for a second, and when we have mismatched teams and players, like a Dom1 and a PSG, right, coming up against each other, one of the things that we always kind of talk about and imply is that the weaker team, the underdog team, puts together a team composition that helps not only shore up the weaknesses, but it's also easy to execute, Easy, clear initiation, long-range damage, etc. How easy is it to play this team composition from PSG? Because it looks nuanced to me.
Well, I feel like PSG, when you're playing from a position where you don't have to force the plays, it's not too hard. You just accept the initiation. Here, PSG are trying to figure out Nuguri in the side lane. All 5 members looking for him, while Dom1 pushed down mid.
I'm going to commit for this one. Wild Growth used already. Nuguri's going to jump forward. Hanabi's already dead. That was a 4 versus 1. And Nuguri gets the kill.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and say hashtag work for Dom1 Gaming, because even Canyon is solo pushing in the ball lane, so he's just like, yes, jungler's dream is just to show up in a side lane and pick up free farm.
All the CS, all the towers. Kaiwin gets caught out, tagged by the box. Multi-man stunned once again. But there comes Tag. The Slide Glide Emperor's Divide will set them up for a kill onto Beryl. Can they close it out? No, because Beryl's able to escape. He flashes out, and nobody goes down from Dom1.
Canyon tries to get the style points there with the collateral damage over the wall. Doesn't find the kill, but Dom1 crushing the map. And this is the difference we talk about. Dom1 don't have to give PSG a team fight. A team fight is where PSG will thrive, but if you're just running PSG around the map, forcing 5 people to come top lane to kill a Kennen, and then he still trades 1 for 1, that's, it just feels terrible.
Tank tried to scoop up Dom1 under the tower, and it got so close, but they couldn't land that last hit, and Dom1 just extend further ahead. Nearly 4,000 gold, with 50 seconds to go until the Cloud Drake spawns. And that will be the 3rd of the game for Dom1. So on track for 26-27 minute soul points. And River may find himself in a little bit of trouble as Beryl and Canyon are waiting out. So Ender looking at the minion waves, teleport coming in here into the mid lane from Showmaker. I believe you can see Nuguri pushing out the bottom lane. So set up Dragon by the numbers, push the waves, and falter it.
Yeah, and we'll see a lot of mid laners use their teleport here just so they can fight over that mid wave right before the Dragon does end up spawning. Has the Spellbinder too, so a lot of burst damage. Nuguri also holding on to an exhaust. And watch Nuguri's positioning in these fights. If he can get into PSG's jungle, which he is now exiting, his flank with a flash is the deadly force that Dom1 need to crush the fight.
Got himself the flash exhaust as far as summoner spells go. Showmaker, 400 gold bounty, 0-0-0 on the scoreboard. It's time for him to show up and find the kills. The team has played exquisitely around the map. And PSG now looking for an opportunity to
watch the flank from Nuguri. He's going all the way around the world.
It feels like Hanabi and Tank are aware of it. Inside the pit, picked up by PSG. That'll delay the soul. All of a sudden, Canyon forced to flash and to play defensively for his life.
For Noguri, he's waiting the whole time.
He's going to timeout, and here comes Noguri. Double kill for Showmaker. Noguri is going to use the exhaust onto River. He finds himself another, turns to Hanabi, and it's Showmaker that closes out the ace.
This is exactly why I believe Noguri is the best team-fighting top laner in the world. Look at the patience for him in that play. Playing Kennen against these champions looks impossible, but he waits for every single ultimate ability to fall. Then he comes in on the side, sets up the pins for Showmaker to knock him down.
The timing. The moment Lamb's Respite went down and Noguri had not entered the river, you knew it was coming. You knew he was going to wreck. Showmaker manages to pick up 3 kills and an assist. The Dragon did go the way of PSG, but the Baron goes the way of Damwon.
Oh, it's just beautiful. The Noguri POV, he has the Cloud Rift to slingshot him around the blue buff, and then watch. Lamb's Respite goes down, the Azir ult is going to fall as Tank comes in, and then he sees his opening, gets everyone double stun onto Hanabi and River, and the rest of his team can show up to... I mean, he's just 1v2 right there.
Nice. Repeated
Stuns, got multiple 2-mans before finishing off the enemy team.
And replay brought to you by Axe, and of course Noguri, he had the exhaust, he knew what was going to happen, he had the spellbook selection, kept him alive long enough to live to close out the team fight, 1v2. And Damwon, now they've got all the tools they need. They've already been playing the map superior. They've already built up all the advantages, 4 towers to 0. And despite the fact that, you know, PSG found those kills, and I want to praise them for the decisions they made, you can clearly see the experience difference and the skill set difference in terms of how Damwon play the map and how they utilize pressure. When PSG apply pressure on Noguri, well, then you cross-map, play mid, play bot.
Damwon's just pure class. This is very reminiscent to some of the dominance we have seen from some great LCK teams on the world stage in years past, and they have the individual talent to back it up. They have young blood. This is something that, you know, the LCK was waiting for last year. You know, Damwon was one of the youngest teams they'd ever sent to Worlds, and they brought a new style. They played it quick, and they play it clean. That's the big thing.
Yeah. Damwon on track to go 3-0. Close out the first round robin. Undefeated.
Noguri, you know there's a Baron buff, right? They can sort of tell you're there.
Maybe it's bait. Maybe it's next level. I know you know. Therefore, nevertheless, the rest of the team comes up and they just knock over the 6th tower. Only the base remaining here for PSG talent. And this is going to be very difficult because PSG, ideally they want people coming onto them and using the tools within their kit. But Noguri just waits for all those tools to be broken and then destroys them.
Yeah, and you don't want to be fighting in an open area either. That's where the flanks can be really, really difficult to work against. Damwon just going to run it straight down middle lane. Sieges, that's just going to take everything down. PSG do not have the tools to fight, but the arrow does connect.
Does insta-click.
Oh, beautiful Mikhail's.
Yep, Mikhail's.
The pre-fire on it.
Exactly, and inhibitor number 1 is taken down. Inhibitor number 2 is about to be threatened. Still got 30 seconds left on this Baron buff. No Ash Arrow available. Damwon will be very happy getting the double supers. 1 in top, 1 in middle. Well, 2 lanes of supers would be a better way of saying that. And they're going to back out. Spend all the gold that they've earned. Increase this item disparity between every single lane. 10,000 gold in the lead. And now it's just, you know, clean and easy. Push out the bottom wave, wait for supers to get in the base, and knock over the 3rd inhib.
Yeah, just take it down, easy peasy. Wow, the champion damage from Kennen, a lot coming in the last team fight.
Yeah.
You have to feel big work done by Noguri, who now has the teleport, but I don't think teleport is even really going to matter here. So you can probably just walk it into the base pretty easily. PSG are now looking at the level 16 Kennen. And that's a big problem. The amount of damage increase you get off of that ultimate is going to be really, really large. And now with like defensive itemization coming in, we're 26 minutes in. Unified only has 1 item, still trying to work on the Infinity Edge. The backline is not at a point yet in which they can actually contest Damwon.
No, 1.5 items versus 3. Pretty difficult situation to be in. And it just fell apart in the mid game. And I think when you look at the experience in the players, when you look at number 2 from PCS up against Damwon and how they're going to play the game, I'm trying to find a nice way of saying this, but basically player difference, experience difference, right? And
look, Damwon are really, really
Yes.
insanely good.
Yes.
This is, I think this is the highest skill level group in at Worlds. I think between Damwon, JDG, Rogue, the level they've showed as well, very, very high. That it's the most stacked group at Worlds, and Damwon being so dominant is it's a tough showing here for PSG when the teams you have to play against are looking so on.
I am very happy to see River and Tank's performance this game as well, though, with Kaiwing and River, how they've shown up, how they did find kills, they did find impact, but just didn't have the macro, and the dredge line is interrupted by that death sentence. Gets rooted in place. Now Noguri waiting once again a flank opportunity.
Every time.
Just swap to flash, so keep your eyes on the Emperor's Divide, keep your eyes on the Lamb's Respite. As soon as those are down, that's when Noguri goes in.
He may even be able to go in earlier. He has the zone, he has the hook lands.
Kaiwing's in trouble, Wild Growth.
That's one.
Lamb's Respite is down.
Here he
The Emperor's Divide is
comes.
available. Here comes Noguri. He's kicked backwards, but PSG are running into the Slicing Maelstrom. They're caught between a Kennen and a Damwon team composition, and it all goes down. PSG put up a tough fight in the beginning, but Damwon in the first round robin undefeated.
And they're gonna wait. They want all the kills they can get on top. Not gonna get it at the end. Damwon looking real good here on the international stage. You know, in that game, we focused a lot on the Kennen. Noguri, his flanks were absolutely pristine, but the rest of his team just could not be matched either.
No, definitely not. We've had 3 very interesting games today, 3 very one-sided games today, as we're 1.5 days left before we round out the first half of groups. And I think for Damwon going 3-0, not a surprise. I do think the way that they're playing, scary as hell, and all of the pre-tournament expectations are being delivered on. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this group progresses, because like you mentioned, JDG didn't quite show up in their first game, and they will get a rematch opportunity in a couple days' time.
Yeah, those will be the fun rematches to check out, of course. All the other teams hoping you don't come in second place in your group, because then you might have a chance of drawing Damwon Gaming,
Yes.
and that is if there was ever a reason to try and get first, it is just to avoid this team.
Now, PSG